All right, so today we're going to be looking into the afterlife.
Okay.
And we're using Michael Newton's Journey of Souls as the basis.
Right.
And just for everyone listening, this book is all about what happens to us after we die. And it uses these interviews with people who are under hypnosis.
Wow.
And they describe their experiences in the spirit world.
So it's like they're accessing these hidden memories from between lives.
Yeah, exactly. So the big question is, what happens right after we die?
Right.
Is it darkness, doom, or is it something else entirely?
Well, according to the book, it's not all doom and gloom.
Really?
Yeah, many of the souls in the book describe this feeling of relief when they realize they're free from their physical bodies.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, and a lot of them talk about this journey through a tunnel of light,
Okay.
like moving from a really narrow space to a much wider one.
So like going from a really confined earthly realm to something bigger and more expansive.
Yeah, precisely.
Interesting.
And Newton, he actually describes this tunnel as having these layers of light, kind of like a cake, you know?
What? With a small top and a wide base.
Yeah, exactly. Like a gradual transition into the spirit world.
Oh, that's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
So once they arrive, are they just kind of left to their own devices?
Well, not really.
Wow.
Souls actually report being greeted by familiar faces.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like their guides, soulmates, even loved ones who've passed on.
Wow.
They offer comfort and reassurance during those initial moments of transition.
Ah, so it's not as scary as we might think.
No, not at all. It's like a big cosmic welcome committee.
That must be incredibly comforting to be met by those you love after such a profound experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It shows that those connections we have, they actually extend beyond the physical realm.
It reinforces the idea that we're not alone, even after we leave our physical bodies behind.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so it's not a completely unfamiliar or scary place.
Well, it seems not. Many souls actually describe seeing familiar earthly scenes, places they loved or that made them feel good.
That makes sense. It's like having landmarks in a new city helps you feel grounded.
Yeah. Like, there's a really touching story in the book about a doctor who was super anxious about leaving his family behind. But then his guide, he shows him a vision of their future without him. And the doctor realizes that they're going to be okay, and it brings him this incredible peace.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's a really powerful example of how the spirit world can kind of give us this broader perspective.
Right.
It's not about holding on to our earthly worries, but kind of trusting that everything unfolds as it should.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there.
So is this warm welcome with the guides and familiar scenes? Does everyone get that?
Well, not necessarily everyone. You see, some souls, especially those who are more advanced, they actually choose to go solo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just seem to know the ropes, you know?
Oh, wow.
They navigate the spirit world with confidence, kind of like seasoned travelers.
So there are different levels of like soul development.
It certainly seems that way.
That's interesting. So how do souls recognize each other in this, ethereal realm? Are they just these floating orbs of light?
Well, they appear as masses of energy, but they can project these human characteristics, often based on their past lives.
So it's not about physical appearance in the way we understand it, but more about how they choose to present themselves.
Right. It's all about meaning and communication.
So it's almost like a cosmic costume party in a way. But if it's based on past lives, wouldn't that get confusing?
Well, the thing is, they have this ability to choose how they present themselves based on the relationship or the location, even their mood.
Okay.
It's really dynamic and adaptable, you see.
So they tailor their appearance to communicate most effectively.
Exactly.
It's like choosing different emojis to express different emotions.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. And for more private conversations, they actually use something called touching communication.
Touching communication. What's that?
It's like communicating through pure thought,
Mm-hmm.
sending these electrical impulses directly to another soul, allowing for really intimate and private conversations.
That's amazing. So there are ways to have public and private interactions in this energy form.
Right.
It's like they have built-in telepathy.
Exactly. There's actually a case in the book that highlights this.
Yeah.
One soul projects different features to communicate with different people. It shows how their true character and their projected persona kind of interact.
It's like we wear different hats in our lives depending on who we're with and where we are.
Exactly. So it all seems pretty harmonious so far, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it does. But is it always smooth sailing in the spirit world?
Well, not always.
Oh.
The book also talks about these displaced
Displaced souls.
Yeah, they're kind of detached from the normal flow of souls going back to the spirit world.
Oh, that's a bit unsettling. So even in the afterlife, there are consequences for our actions.
It seems so. There are two types of displaced souls.
Okay.
Some resist going back because of personal anguish, like they have unfinished business, and others are actually removed by their guides because of things they did in their past lives that were harmful.
So it's not a punishment, but more of a chance to reflect and heal.
Yeah, that's the idea, like a cosmic timeout.
Is there a concept of karma at play here?
Absolutely. Newton emphasizes that karma isn't about punishment, it's about understanding cause and effect.
Right.
It's about growth and understanding. There's this one case where a soul was secluded with his guide, and he had to reflect on the harm he caused in a past life. It was all about confronting his actions and learning from them.
So what happens to these displaced souls eventually?
Well, they go through this process of healing and reorientation.
Like a cosmic reset button, a fresh start.
Exactly. The book describes it as washing out the negative viruses from past lives. It's like a shower of cleansing energy, preparing them to rejoin the flow of souls.
Oh, that's powerful.
There's a story about a soul who felt completely exhausted from a difficult life.
Yeah.
And this cleansing energy just revitalized them.
It really emphasizes the spirit world as a place of healing and restoration.
It is. It really is.
Like a cosmic spa day for the soul.
Exactly. And then, after this cleansing, they move on to a crucial stage, a conference with their guide.
A conference, like a performance review for your soul. What happens there?
It's a chance for them to review their past life and identify areas where they can improve.
So they're not being judged, but rather guided towards self-reflection.
Exactly. The focus is on understanding their motivations and learning from their mistakes. It's about intent rather than just actions.
So it's a collaborative process of growth.
Yeah. Newton does mention a council of masters or elders overseeing the evaluation process.
Okay.
But it's not about punishment or reward. It's about understanding the big picture and guiding souls towards their full potential.
That's reassuring.
It is.
So after this conference, where do they go? Is there like a final destination in the spirit world?
Well, the next stop is what's called the staging area.
The staging area.
Yeah. It's a central hub where souls are collected and sent to their final destinations within the spirit world.
So it's like a cosmic grand central station.
Yeah.
But where are these final destinations?
Okay, so imagine it like an airport terminal, all right?
Right.
It's divided into two phases, assembly and transfer.
Interesting.
Some souls, especially newer ones, they're escorted by their guides. I see, while others just seem to know exactly where they're going. Like they've got their boarding pass for their soul's next destination.
That's a great analogy. It makes it much easier to picture.
Good, good.
So where do they ultimately end up? What are these destinations?
They're assigned to these groups called cluster groups.
Cluster groups.
Yeah, they're organized by their knowledge and development level, so it's like an eternal study group. Souls with similar objectives, they all work together, and they form these close bonds that often carry over into future lives as family and friends.
So even in the spirit world, there's a sense of community and shared purpose.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this built-in support system for your soul's journey.
I love that.
In the book, Newton compares the experiences of two souls going through this staging area.
Oh.
Yeah, one's a beginner soul, and he feels totally lost and confused, like he's missed his connecting flight, you know?
Yeah.
But then the other soul, who's more advanced, he connects with his group easily.
Right.
Like he has VIP access or something.
That's a great contrast.
Yeah. It just shows how there are different levels of experience and comfort within the spirit world.
And how important those guides are, especially for the souls that are still finding their way.
Exactly. And speaking of guides, they play such a crucial role in all of this.
Yes, they do.
Maybe we should dive into their world next and understand how they shape a soul's journey.
I'm all ears. They're like the professors of this cosmic university.
That's a great way to put it.
So let's unravel those mysteries.
All right, let's do it. So we're back, diving deeper into Journey of Souls, and now we're going to explore the role of guides in a soul's development.
I'm ready for it. They seem like the ultimate spiritual advisors, kind of like our cosmic mentors.
Yeah, exactly. And they're actually assigned based on a soul's maturity level.
That makes sense.
And a guide can have just one student, or sometimes even many.
So like a personalized spiritual coaching program tailored for each soul's needs.
Precisely. And the book, it has these really heartwarming stories about the connections between souls and their guides.
Oh.
Like one woman realized that her guide had actually appeared to her in different forms throughout her many past lives.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, always there to offer support and guidance, like a constant companion on her journey.
That's beautiful. It really shows the depth of those relationships.
It does.
But if guides are so wise, do they just give their students all the answers?
Well, that's the interesting part. They provide clues, hints, even encouragement, but they don't just hand out solutions. It's more about encouraging growth and independence.
So they're the ultimate teachers, helping us discover our own truths and potential.
Exactly. And like any good school, there are different levels of guides, culminating in these master guides at the highest level.
Like a cosmic university with a faculty of incredibly wise beings.
Exactly. But then you have the souls who are just starting out, the newbies.
Yeah, the beginner souls.
Yeah.
Everyone starts somewhere.
Right. And there are two types. Those who are brand new to existence, like fresh out of the cosmic oven, so to speak.
Wow.
And then those who, even after many lives, they're still working on their spiritual training wheels.
So some souls catch on quickly, while others need a little more time and practice.
Exactly. It's like anything else. Some people are naturals, and others need a little more coaching.
But everyone has the potential, right?
Absolutely. Everyone has the potential to learn and grow. So imagine being a brand new soul, fresh out of that cosmic oven.
That would be overwhelming, to say the least. What happens to them?
Well, they're not just thrown into the deep end. The book describes this spiritual maternity ward.
A spiritual maternity ward.
Yeah, where these new souls are nurtured and they start to develop their identities.
So it's like a cosmic kindergarten.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where they learn the basics of existence and start exploring their potential.
So they have a safe and supportive environment to adjust to this new reality.
Yeah, exactly.
What are these beginner souls like? Do they have any, telltale signs?
Well, they might be a bit confused, maybe a little ineffective, potentially self-centered.
Okay.
And they might struggle to understand how things work here on Earth.
Right, like they're still learning the rules of the game.
Exactly. And that's where soul groups come in.
Oh yeah, soul groups. What are they like?
Well, they offer support, feedback, and they share learning experiences.
So it's like a built-in support system for their soul's journey.
Exactly. It's like a cosmic support group where they can share their experiences and learn from each other.
So what are their interactions like? Are they all serious and somber?
Well, actually, they're a mix of honesty and even some playful teasing.
Oh, that's good. So there's room for laughter in the spirit world.
Definitely. And they have this shared understanding that Earth is like a stage for learning and growth.
I see.
Newton tells a story about an artist who rejoins his soul group.
Yeah.
And they all tease him about his flamboyant attire from his past life.
Haha. So they don't lose their sense of humor.
Not at all. But those group discussions, they're really important.
I can imagine.
They analyze their past lives, figure out what they can improve, and strategize for their next incarnation.
It's like a soul therapy session.
Exactly. They're constantly refining their approach, learning from mistakes, and striving to do better next time.
So it's not a static group. They evolve and change, right?
Absolutely. They have different levels of advancement, and sometimes those more advanced groups, they actually offer guidance to the newer souls.
So it's a beautiful cycle of learning and teaching.
It is. It really is.
But what about those who have, graduated from this cosmic university? The advanced souls.
Ah, yes, the advanced souls. They're a fascinating group.
Yeah.
Very independent, self-aware, and they really focus on service to others.
They can understand their role in the grand scheme of things.
So they're the spiritual trailblazers. But what exactly do they do in the spirit world? Are they just chilling out?
Well, not quite. They're far from inactive. They're actually engaged in 4 main areas of activity.
Oh, and those are?
The world without ego, the world of all-knowing, the world of creation and non-creation, and the world of altered time.
Wow, those sound incredible. Let's start with the world without ego. What happens there?
It's a realm where souls explore the interconnectedness of all things.
Okay.
They go beyond the limits of individual identity and realize that we are all part of something much bigger.
So it's about recognizing that the ego is an illusion and understanding our true expansive selves.
Exactly. And it's also in this realm that newly created souls develop their sense of individuality.
Interesting.
Advanced souls actually help guide that process.
So they're like the wise elders helping those new souls understand their purpose.
Precisely. And it shows that even the most advanced souls are still learning and growing.
That's a good point. But let's move on to the world of all-knowing. Now, this one is really mind-blowing.
Okay, I'm ready. What's so special about it?
Imagine a realm of pure consciousness, where you don't learn through studying or experience, but through direct knowing.
Wow.
It's like merging with the universal mind, where past, present, and future all come together.
It's like accessing the cosmic library, where all the secrets of the universe are held.
Exactly. And it's not a place you just wander into. It takes a very high level of spiritual mastery.
So it's the ultimate goal for many souls, a state of perfect understanding and unity with the source.
Precisely. And it makes you wonder what happens after a soul reaches that state.
Right. Is there even a next step on this eternal journey?
That's a great question, and maybe one that we can only understand once we reach that level ourselves.
I guess so. For now, let's dive into those other two areas of activity that advanced souls engage in.
All right, let's do it.
Welcome back, you guys, for our last look into Journey of Souls. We've gone through so much, from the initial moments after death to the guides and what it's like to be a beginner soul and an advanced soul. But now I'm really curious about those last two areas of activity you talked about for the advanced souls, the world of creation and non-creation, and then that world of altered time. They sound mysterious.
They really are. Even for the advanced souls that Newton interviewed in the book, it was like they could only offer these little glimpses into them. They're very mysterious places.
Okay, that makes me want to know even more. So let's start with the creation and non-creation thing. What is actually happening there? Are souls literally like building new universes?
Well, it's not quite that simple,
Yeah.
but they do describe it as a place where souls can learn to manipulate energy, and they can actually shape reality with their thoughts and intentions.
Oh, wow.
It really challenges our understanding of creation.
So is it more about understanding the basic principles behind creation, like how energy transforms and how thoughts can actually influence reality?
Yes, exactly. It's like this huge cosmic workshop where souls get to experiment with the building blocks of existence.
That's incredible. So they're like co-creators with the source, tapping into this power that we can barely even comprehend from our earthly perspective.
Absolutely. It really shows how much potential we have beyond what we experience in our physical lives.
Right. Our bodies might be limited, but our souls, they're capable of so much more.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about the world of altered time? Is this like actual time travel? Like zipping back and forth through different eras?
Not exactly time travel in the way we usually picture it. It's more about understanding time itself, how it flows differently in different dimensions and how we can perceive it, even manipulate it.
So it's a training ground for understanding how fluid time actually is, learning to see past, present, and future as all connected.
Exactly. We have to go beyond that linear perception of time that we have here
Right.
and gain a much broader perspective. Imagine being able to perceive multiple timelines at once. Seeing how your choices ripple through time and create different outcomes.
That would be mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And I bet understanding time like that would be so crucial for souls before they come back to Earth, where time feels very linear and constant.
Absolutely. It helps them navigate the challenges of life with a much bigger perspective.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Knowing that every single moment is connected to this vast web of possibilities.
Journey of Souls really opens our minds to the possibilities of what might be out there. And it makes us think about life and death and even who we are in a whole new way. It's been an incredible journey.
It really has. As we wrap up our deep dive today, I think the most important thing to remember is that we are eternal beings, souls on this continuous path of learning and growing, and we're all connected to each other and to the source in ways we can barely even imagine.
And even though our time in these bodies is limited, our souls are infinite.
Yes.
They carry the wisdom and experience from all those lifetimes. That's a pretty powerful and comforting thought.
It really is. And while we're here going through all the ups and downs of life, we should remember that we're not alone, We're souls in this grand adventure, guided by the universe and surrounded by this community of fellow travelers.
I love that. And to all our listeners out there, keep exploring these ideas. Trust your intuition, listen to what your soul is telling you, and never stop looking for the truth within from another. Until next time, happy exploring.